Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan, and today we're gonna look at the Mage tree and then at the Fire tree in the next video, talent trees from the Dragonflight beta, and let's go! What do we have with Fire Mage? And probably this part of the barrier is gonna change depending on the spec. Yep, it's definitely gonna be ice barrier for frost and stuff like that. So the talent that we have by default, Blazing Barrier or Barrier of your specialization, instant 25 seconds cooldown. For Fire Mage it's shields you in flame, absorbing some part of the damage for 1 minute. Melee attacks against you cause the attacker to take some part of some damage. Okay. Ice block. So ice block is optional. Holy shit! But at least it's like very at the top here. Instant 4 minutes cooldown cases you in a block of ice, protecting you from all attacks and damage for 10 seconds. But during that time you cannot attack, move, or cast spells. Yeah, just our regular ice block. Overflowing energy, some kind of a work in a progress. Your damage is increased by 3% while you have a barrier active. Okay, not a very big talent, but still pretty good. It can be pretty good as well, at least. Invisibility turns you invisible over 3 seconds, reducing threat each second. While invisible, you are untargetable by enemies. Lasts 20 seconds, 5 minutes cooldown. Taking any action cancels the effect. So then, Winter's Protection. The cooldown of Ice Block is reduced by 20 and then 40 seconds, which is quite good, but like, yeah, for 4 minutes cooldown, yeah, it's gonna be pretty decent, but probably during one fight with the boss you're gonna, maybe you can like squeeze in additional use of the ice block, but yeah, you probably wouldn't really use it on the start of encounter anyway. So okay, Spell Steal. Steals a beneficial magic effect from the target. This effect lasts a maximum of 2 minutes. Yep, we know this kind of spells, nothing new as well. Tempest Barrier. Gain a shield that absorbs 3% of your maximum health for 15 seconds after you blink, and then for 6 seconds. So yeah, little shields after blink, additional defensive stuff, pretty good. Not that much, to be honest, but still pretty good. Mirror Image creates 3 copies of you nearby for 40 seconds, which casts spells and attacks your enemies. While your images are active, damage taken is reduced by 20%. Taking direct damage will cause one of your images to dissipate, and 2 minutes cooldown. So again, our defensive-ish cooldown that gives us a little bit damage as well. Nothing new here. Let's go with the invisibility part. Incantation of Swiftness. So greater invisibility or invisibility increases your movement speed by 40% for fire and frost and 16% for arcane. Maybe numbers aren't quite reflective of the things that we truly will have in game, but so you're getting additional movement speed after you're casting your invisibility, and you have 2 talent points here. So basically first part of the first third of the tree is definitely 100% like utility focused. Remove curse. Remove all curses from a friendly target. Instant 8 seconds cooldown. Okay. Arcane Warding reduces magic damage taken by 2% and then 4%. Oh, that's pretty good, especially if you know that some encounters are gonna be very heavily magic focused. Yeah. Then with what we have is Alter Time. Alter Time. Instant 1 minute cooldown alters the fabric of time, returning you to your current location and health when you cast a second time or after 10 seconds, effect negated by long distance or death. Yep, one of our additional utility talents. And we have at the center our first truly damage ability. Either encounters flow, magical energy flows through you while combat, building up to 20 20% increased damage and then diminishing down to 4% increased damage, cycling every 10 seconds, or Rune of Power. So that's currently the choice that we have in the game as well. You're either taking this ramping up, ramping down in Counter's Flow, or you're taking Rune of Power, which you often take Rune of Power. 1.5 seconds cast time and 45 seconds recharge time. So there are charges of the Rune of Power. Place a Rune of Power on the ground for 12 seconds, which increases your spell damage by 40% while you stand within 8 yards. Casting Icy Veins for Frost, Combustion for Fire, or Arcane damage. Also create a Rune of Power at your location. So yeah, Rune of Power is way better than in Counter's Flow most of the time, because you're like aligning your DPS cooldowns one with another, and you're having like 40% damage during your damage cooldowns is way better than 20% outside those cooldowns. 100% sure on that. So yeah, you'll probably take your Rune of Power. Okay, let's go from left to right. Cryo Freeze. While I mean left section, then center, then right section. Cryo Freeze. While inside Ice Block, you heal for 40% of your maximum health over the duration, and then it's gonna be 80%. So you can like get yourself second life just with one button pushed. Choose one. Reduplication. Mirror images cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds whenever a mirror image dissipates due to direct damage, and mirror image is 2 minutes cooldown. It gives you 3 copies, which can not gonna guarantee reduce cooldown by 30 seconds maximum. Reabsorption. You are healed for 5% of your maximum health whenever a mirror image dissipates due to direct damage. Yeah, or additional health to you, which is... So, first part of the talent may be a little bit like for PvP, and second one is definitely more PvE focused, in my opinion. Grounding Surge. Successfully interrupting an enemy with counter spell reduces its cooldown by 4 seconds. Great. Ring of Fire. 2 seconds cast time, 45 seconds cooldown. A Ring of Frost. Wait, why would I like read it? Ring of Fire. Ring of Frost. Summons a Ring of Frost for 10 seconds at the target location. Enemies entering the ring are incapacitated for 10 seconds. Limit 10 charges. When the incapacitate expires, enemies are slowed by 65% for 4 seconds. Nothing new. We had this stuff before. Ice Nova. Instant for 25 seconds cooldown. Causes a whirl of ice wind around the enemy, dealing 120% spell power frost damage to the target and reduced damage to all other enemies within 8 yards, and freezing them in place for 2 seconds. Yeah, so like just Ice Nova, wind around the enemy. But the icon is maybe I'm mistaking it with other spell, but yeah, this thing causes ice wind around the enemy, not around you. Yeah, maybe that was some other stuff. Let me see. Let's go with class ones. Frostbolt, portals, counterspell, Frost Nova. Wait, Frost Nova, and here Ice Nova. Oh yeah, so that's Ice Nova. Yeah, that's like Frost Nova, but from your target and not from you, and it probably deals... Yeah, it deals a lot more damage. 120% spell power with Pyroblast dealing 150%. Maybe it's not gonna be like game-breaking AoE spell for fire, but still pretty cool that you can spec into the ice skills that even deal some damage in AoE and freeze enemies in place additionally to your Frost Nova. That you already have. Improved Frost Nova, so that's for Frost Nova. Yeah. Frost Nova duration is increased by 2%, by 2 seconds. Or Rigid Ice. Frost Nova can withstand 80% more damage before breaking. Okay, so both these things, they are either for you trying to kite in M+, or most of the times probably for PvP. And what do we have? Tome of Ronin increases critical strike chance by 2%. Just straight up critical strike chance, and here we have haste by 2%. Alright, let's go with center then. Mass Polymorph transforms all enemies within 10 yards into sheep, wandering around incapacitated for 1 second, or for 1 minute. While affected, the victims cannot take actions but will regenerate health very quickly. Damage will cancel the effect. So AoE Polymorph we have, which is I don't really think that we had before. And it's quite cool stuff, yeah, so incapacitating for 1 minute for in AoE. Probably not gonna work for 1 minute in PvP. 100% not gonna work, but yeah, pretty cool. You're gonna see a lot of ships wandering around in AoE. So now slow, reduces the target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. I forget, do we have it right now in the fire and frost trees? Yeah, so that's like arcane style slow skill that mages had for like ever. Choose one. Shimmer, instant 25 seconds recharge, 2 charges, teleports you 20 yards forward unless something is in the way, unaffected by the global cooldown and castable while casting. Or Ice Flows, instant 20 seconds recharge, 3 charges, makes your next mage spell with a cast time shorter than 10 seconds castable while moving, unaffected by the global cooldown, and castable while casting. Yeah, we had both these things as talent, if I recall correctly. Here we have our increase of haste, and now our right part of the tree. So after the alter time goes Master of Time, reduces the cooldown of alter time by 10 seconds. After alter time resets the cooldown of blink when you return to your original location. Reduces the cooldown of alter time by 10 seconds, so 50 seconds instead. Alter time resets the cooldown of blink. So yeah, it's more mobility for you, definitely gonna be very useful in PvP, probably it's gonna be useful in raiding, maybe not so much in M+. Diverted Energy. Your barriers heal you for 10% of the damage absorbed, so just additional utility on your shields. Blast Wave causes an explosion around yourself, dealing fire damage to all enemies within 8 yards, knocking them back and reducing movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds. More of a PvP talent, definitely, but of course can be used in some situations where you need to deal with adds. Slow applies to all enemies within 5 yards of your target. That's an increase for our slow. Which is okay, you're getting an AoE slow instead of single target, but you already have your stuns, your freezes, and everything goes AoE, so I don't really think that's so crucial, but it's definitely pretty cool that you have the ability to do so. Volatile Detonation greatly increases the effect of Blast Wave's knockback. Blast Wave's cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. So greatly increases. Oh, so you're gonna knock back even further, which is definitely good for PvP, and its cooldown reduced to 25 seconds. All right. When your barrier receives melee attacks, you have a 10% chance to be granted Fire Blast charge. I guess casting your barrier removes all snare effects. Oh, so casting your barrier removes all snare effects. So that's quite useful. And getting additional Fire Blast charge, well, that's just but you need to be hit by melee, which means that it looks like a PvP talent for me. Not only, but specifically good in PvP. Okay, let's go with this part of the tree. Temporal Velocity increases your movement speed by 5% for 2 seconds after casting Blink, and for 20% for 5 seconds after returning from Outer Time. So more mobility after casting Blinks and Outer Time, which, yeah, just makes you a mobile monster. Cumulative Shielding. Your barriers cooldown recharge 10% faster while the shield persists. Alright, okay, so if you're not receiving any damage, you're gonna have more uptime. Dragon's Breath. Enemies in a cone in front of you take... wait a second. Instant. Oh, Dragon's Breath. Yeah, 45 seconds. Cooldown instant. Enemies in a cone in front of you take pretty mediocre fire damage and are disoriented for 4 seconds. Get damage will cancel the effect. To be honest, like Ice Nova just seems way better than Dragon Breath. Straight up. And it's a little bit weird that it's so far below. Maybe there's some talent for it, but no, they're both like actives. I don't have anything against Dragon Breath itself, but yeah, like what do you want? Like freezing enemies for 2 seconds? Well, there is disorientation for 4 seconds, and here it's only 2 seconds, but twice as much damage, twice as less cooldown. You can like 40 yards range for AoE near your target. All right, Meteor. 1% of base mana, instant 45 seconds cooldown, calls down a meteor which lands to the target location after 3 seconds, dealing 260% of spell power fire damage, which is quite massive. Split evenly between all targets within 8 yards and burns the ground, dealing fire damage over time to all enemies. Okay, at least the burning damage is not like split. Yeah. The thing that the damage is split like a little bit ruins it. But alright, still can be quite good damage. Even with that 45 seconds cooldown, which means that it's probably gonna be pretty good in M+, if it's good numerically, of course. Reflection teleports you back to where you last blinked, only usable within 8 seconds of blinking. Oh, so I guess we had that already, right? And it was like either shimmer, either ice flows, or reflection. I'm not so sure, but something similar with this icon I definitely saw and probably even used. And yeah, it's quite weird that it's so far down below, but like it's general tree, it's not your main core tree. Yeah, which means that utility can be so far below. Okay. Your barrier, okay, so we've got our right part of the tree. Let's go with center now. The cooldown of blink is reduced by 1 and then 2 seconds. Greater invisibility, instant 2 minutes cooldown, makes you invisible and untargetable for 20 seconds, removing all threat. Any action taken cancels this effect. You take 60% reduced damage while invisible and for 3 seconds after reappearing. So greater invisibility, the thing with, yeah, like... it explains itself pretty well. Choose one. Time anomaly. At any moment you have a chance to gain. For fire it's combustion, for arcane it's arcane surge, and for frost it's icy veins. And clear casting. Wait a second. Oh, so for arcane it's arcane surge and clear casting. For fire it's combustion and 1 fire blast charge, and for frost it's icy veins for 8 seconds and fingers of frost. Or time warp for 6 seconds. Oh yeah, we have this talent. So inconsistency of it, and the nature of this talent makes it a little bit unreliable, and the chance is, if I'm not mistaken, is not very big. Interesting. And what do we have instead of it? Temporal Warp. While you have temporal displacement or other similar effects, you may use time warp to grant yourself 30% haste for 40 seconds. Yeah. So, like, probably you're gonna take Temporal Warp. Because but it's again, it depends on numerical stuff. Maybe I'm wrong just because if when it was like take this or this or this, it wasn't really good, the time anomaly stuff, and now it's gonna be better, but it's on the, like, it's down there, so it's pretty deep. There's probably something better. Oh, there's shifting power here. Yeah. Definitely you're probably not taking time anomaly. And Meteor, by the way, I didn't think about it. You can take Meteor while you're not fire. which is pretty cool, and you can mix a little bit your style and your visuals. Yeah, I like it very much. Frigid Winds. All of your snare effects reduce the target's movement speed by additional 5 or 10%. Okay, pretty useful, I guess. Clear casting arcane missiles or fire blast or ice lance on frozen targets reduces the cooldown of your loss of control abilities by 1 second and then by 2 seconds. Alright, defensive stuff. Enemies hit by Cone of Cold are frozen in place for 4 seconds. And with our Cone of Cold, what do we have? Cone of Cold. So enemies are slowed and now they're frozen in places, which means that you can kite better. Yeah, and definitely, like, choosing all this stuff, you're probably gonna take Meteor. Because, I mean, like, yeah, I'm thinking in like M plus numbers and M plus potentials. So like, yeah, Meteor is pretty good. It's like AoE slap or single target slap with pretty good cooldown, and everything else except for some other things, of course, Temporal Warp or Shifting Power, like this and these parts, they are more of a PvP or maybe some specific stuff for some encounters where you have to be either very mobile or very CC heavy. Okay, Ice Ward. Frost Nova now has 2 charges. We had that previously, if I'm not mistaken. Shifting Power. Channeled 4 seconds cast. 1 minute cooldown. That's our Night Fae Covenant ability, which is quite significant and quite cool. Draw power from the Night Fae, dealing 53% of spell power multiplied by 4, like dealing pretty good damage in AoE to enemies within 18 yards, while channeling. Your mage ability cooldowns are reduced by 12 seconds over 4 seconds, so 3 seconds every second or something like that. Yeah, so you're probably taking Shifting Power, and afterwards you need to see, can you even have, you can have enough talent points to take both this and this. Maybe you want your Temporal Warp as well. But yeah, like, pretty cool that you have ability to take different stuff. I like the Mage talent tree. It's way more, it's not as hard on defensives as Warlocks. It has some utility in it. It has some new stuff in it. It has some stuff that you can gain in different it has a couple of frost spells that you can have on your fire or arcane tree. It has some fire spells that you can have on your other trees. So yeah, I like it very much. I hope it's gonna be good in the game as well to play the mage. So thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good day. Please subscribe to my channel and goodbye.